Whatever happened to Starship Mario? You know, Mario's own personal faceship to travel the galaxy. After all, the hubs from the other games have consistently come back. Starship Mario, on the other hand, seems to have faded into obscurity, barely making any appearances in recent years. But why? Well, it's time to cast a searchlight over this special spaceship and discover what Starship Mario really is, what happened to it, and maybe even find out exactly where it's been this whole time. Welcome to Missing in Action, where we take a look back at various game elements that have mysteriously gone missing. Starship Mario is the central hub in 2010's Super Mario Galaxy 2. After Mario is sent into space in pursuit of Bowser and collects his first Power Star, he arrives back on a small planet filled with Lumas, and their leader, Lubba. At first, the ship just looks like a small planet, and doesn't resemble much of anything besides a giant floating rock with a steering wheel slapped on it. But hey, it's home to the Lumas, so perhaps we shouldn't judge too harshly. Unfortunately, all of its Power Stars were stolen by Bowser, so Lubba makes a deal with Mario. If he can collect Power Stars to power the ship, then Mario can have the ship in order to save Princess Peach. And then, the Lumas rebuild the ship to look just like their newly appointed captain, Mario, with grass serving as Mario's hair and stones for his eyes. Starship Mario is born. As the central hub, Starship Mario's main purpose is to navigate to different levels, or galaxies, in the game. Which is why when you step out to the ship's wheel, positioned appropriately enough on what appears to be the bow of a ship, the camera zooms out to the world map, where Mario can navigate the starship to different galaxies. It really felt like you were the captain of a ship, especially with the seagulls that may inexplicably join you. What is this, Wind Waker? But when you're not piloting the ship, you can also run around and freely explore it too, even if it's much smaller than every hub in the previous 3D Mario games. It's not a small city, or an observatory slowly regaining power over time. It's literally a giant Mario head with its own gravitational pull that Mario can use to run all over the surface. There aren't really even any rooms to explore, outside of a small room for rolling chance cubes, entered through the left ear, and the engine room, which doubles as a museum for the game's power-ups, which, fun fact, Mario can also enter by way of the chimney, and that's about it. Well, Luigi seemingly has his own room too, as that's how the player swaps between playing as Mario and Luigi, but we never actually see what this room looks like. Sure, the door's open, but it just looks like a small empty room, rather than hinting at anything more. Poor Luigi, going from Luigi's mansion to Mario's closet. Anyway, there's a warp pad in the starship's right ear that'll bring Mario out to the Toad Brigade Starsroom station nearby, where Mario can find some of the Toad Brigade. But they're not the only ones hanging out around the starship. Uniquely, as Mario progresses throughout his adventure, various NPCs will join Mario on his journey. Even Rosalina will appear after completing the final level in the game, the Perfect Run, essentially serving as the 100% completion reward. And these NPCs certainly make the hub more lively as you progress through the game. Although, in retrospect, we gotta ask, why did all these people join Starship Mario? Did these different characters just want to drop everything and go out and see the universe? And how did they even get here in the first place? Did they just hitch a ride back with Mario as he flew back with the Power Star? Even Mario's universe is full of mystery. The starship even shows up at the end of the game, flying in the sky above Peach's castle, which is fitting, as after a whole adventure, it felt like it was part of Mario. Or at least, a part. But, of course, it was only given to him by the Lumas for his adventure to save Peach, so perhaps the Lumas intend to fly away with it elsewhere. But would they keep it in the shape of Mario's head, or change it once again? In any case, seeing Mario's head flying through space will always be a silly sight. But interestingly, it may not have always been intended as a spaceship. Early screenshots from Super Mario Galaxy 2 depict a planet that is more of a one-to-one replica of Mario's head, looking more like a bonus one-off planet, similar to the Yoshi head found in the first Mario Galaxy. Speaking of which, the very idea of a Mario head may have originated in that first game too, as early concept art for that game shows a planet shaped like Mario's head too. And before we move on to the starship's other appearances, allow Lubba to remind you all to subscribe to GameXplain for more videos like this and plenty more. Anyway, Starship Mario appeared again just a year later in 2011's Fortune Street, the party game crossover with Dragon Quest, but this time as its very own board. Although, rather than these spaces organically fitting into the environment, like in Mario Party, they instead float above the themed location, making Starship Mario more of a background element. So here, the board would wrap around Starship Mario, floating above it almost like it was in orbit. In a cute touch, the different playable characters would offer their thoughts on the spaceship. Wario, for example, proposed stealing it from Mario by flipping the caps M to a W to make it his, while Luigi and Donkey Kong wanted to see spaceships based on their heads instead. Which raises a good point actually. How poor Luigi, even when chosen as the main playable character in Super Mario Galaxy 2, still commands a ship that looks like his brother, rather than himself. Starship Mario returned a few years later, in 2014's Super Smash Bros. For Wii U, as part of the Mario Galaxy stage. While this stage is set in Gateway Galaxy from the first game, it features various references to both of them in the background, including one of Bowser's airships, a Starshroom, and yes, even Starship Mario. Lubba can be seen commanding the ship, along with a few other Lumas, and seeing the ship flying around in the background really made it feel like it was yet another staple in the Mario series, like the other hubs before it, and that we would continue to see it referenced for years to come. It even has a collectible trophy in this game. But that wouldn't quite be the case, as the Starship then disappeared for another 4 years, until Super Smash Bros. Ultimate in 2018, where it could be seen again in the returning Mario Galaxy stage, although it does make another new cameo in the form of a spirit. The Starship Mario Spirit Battle is against a giant Mario on the Mario Galaxy stage set in low gravity, which, gotta say, is pretty fitting. Probably the closest we could get to actually fighting Starship Mario itself. But ever since then, it's been complete radio silence, outside of one other appearance with a small cameo at Super Nintendo World, specifically in the Japanese park during a section of the Yoshi's Adventure ride, where it could be seen by looking through a nearby warp pipe along with the planet from Gateway Galaxy. It's a cute detail to show that maybe Starship Mario hasn't been entirely forgotten, even though its appearances have become few and far between. And that's what makes Starship Mario so unique among Mario's 3D hubs, as it's the first to essentially disappear, having only a small handful of appearances since its first appearance nearly 15 years ago. Obviously, Peach's Castle can be found almost everywhere these days, including interior layouts that closely resemble the first Mario 64 appearance. Delfino Plaza also made quite a few appearances after Mario Sunshine, such as, in addition to Fortune Street and its Japanese exclusive predecessor, several Smash games as a full stage, along with Mario Power Tennis, Mario Party 6, Mario and Sonic at the Sochi 2014 Olympic Games, and even officially recreated in Minecraft. The Comet Observatory has frequently appeared after the original Mario Galaxy, including in Mario Galaxy 2, Super Mario 3D World, Rosalina's Ice World in several Mario Kart games, Mario Tennis Open, Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope, Super Nintendo World, and even more on top of that. Heck, even the Odyssey, which came years after Mario Galaxy 2, and wasn't even really a true hub, has been seen many times since, cameoing in Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate in the New Donk City stage, and in Mario and Sonic at the Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games. So why has Starship Mario gone on to only make a small handful of appearances? Well, it might come down to the Comet Observatory from the first Mario Galaxy just being more iconic, especially as it belongs to a fan-favorite character, Rosalina, whereas Starship Mario only really has Lubba tied to it, and I just don't know if anyone really cares about him. It's perhaps ironic that a hub world built to resemble an entire being perhaps has the least distinct identity of them all. Starship Mario marked a strong starting identity to the second Mario Galaxy game, plastering Mario's face across the stars, and for a time it seemed like it was going to remain as a key reference to the pair of Galaxy games. But it was quickly reduced to a mere cameo, falling short of the other 3D Mario hub worlds, despite this being the only one that is literally a world. So is there any hope for the poor Starship? Well, it'll likely reappear in the Orlando version of Super Nintendo World when that opens next year, as it's been confirmed to be receiving the same Yoshi ride that Japan has. But besides possibly reappearing in a future Smash Bros. Classic stage, Starship Mario's future feels pretty bleak. especially as it wasn't even referenced in Sparks of Hope, a game with space travel as a core theme. So unless a Mario Galaxy 3 appears with Starship Mario as a central element, we wouldn't hold our breath holding out hope for any future appearances. But what do you guys think? Could Starship Mario ever return? Where would you like to see it come back? And is there anything or anyone else that's gone missing that you want found? Let us know in the comments and maybe we'll cover it in a future episode. Thank you all for watching, and make sure to subscribe to GameXplain for more future Missing in Action episodes, and plenty more on gaming as well, of course.